Chapter 1. The Grey Room. Leo lived in a small room. The room had one window. The window was small. Leo looked out the window every day. He saw a big city. The city had many buildings. The buildings were tall. They were grey. The sky was often grey, too. Leo's room was grey. The walls were grey. The bed was grey. The table was grey. Even his clothes were grey. Leo felt grey. He felt sad and tired. Every day was the same. He woke up in the morning. He looked at the grey ceiling. He did not want to get out of bed. The bed was not comfortable, but it was his place. In his bed, he could close his eyes. When he closed his eyes, he did not see the grey room. After a long time, he got up. He walked to the small kitchen. The kitchen was part of his room. It had a small refrigerator and a small stove. He opened the refrigerator. It was almost empty. There was some milk and one egg. He made breakfast. His breakfast was always the same. One boiled egg and a glass of milk. He ate slowly at his small, grey table. He did not taste the food. He just ate because he needed to eat. After breakfast, Leo sat on his chair. He looked out the window. The city was busy. Cars moved on the streets. People walked on the sidewalks. They walked fast. They looked busy. Leo did not know them. He was alone in the big city. He did not have a job. He came to the city for a job, but he lost it. Now, he stayed in his room all day. He did not have friends in the city. He did not talk to anyone. His family was far away, in a small town. He did not want to tell them he was sad. He did not want them to worry. The sun did not come into his room. The big buildings outside blocked the sun. His room was always dark. He used a small lamp. The lamp had a weak, yellow light. The light made the grey room look more sad. Sometimes, he read a book. The books were old. The pages were yellow. The stories were about happy people in bright places. Leo read the words, but he did not feel the happiness. The stories were like a different world. A world that was not for him. In the evening, he ate dinner. Dinner was simple. Maybe some bread or some rice. He ate alone. The city outside was noisy. He heard the sounds of cars and sirens. But his room was quiet. It was a lonely quiet. At night, he went to bed. He closed his eyes. He thought about nothing. He wanted to sleep. Sleep was an escape from the grey day. But sometimes, he could not sleep. He just lay in bed and looked at the dark ceiling. This was Leo's life. A grey life in a grey room. The sadness was like a big, dark cloud over him. He did not know how to make it go away. He felt lost. He felt like he was in a long, dark tunnel with no end. He did not know that a small change was coming. A small step that would start a long journey out of the darkness. Chapter 2. A small step. One morning, Leo woke up. The room was grey, like always. The ceiling was grey. He felt the same sadness. It was a heavy feeling in his chest. He lay in bed for a long time. 1 hour. 2 hours. He thought about his life. It was a circle. A sad circle. Wake up. Eat. Sit. Eat. Sleep. Every day. He felt tired of this circle. He wanted something to change. But what? He did not know. He looked out the window. The sky was grey, but he saw a small patch of blue. Just a little piece of blue sky between the tall buildings. It was a small thing, but it was different. Blue, he said to himself. His voice was quiet. He did not talk much. He stood up. He walked to his closet. He opened it. All his clothes were grey and black. He looked at them for a long time. He had one blue shirt. It was an old shirt. He did not wear it much. Today, he took the blue shirt. He put it on. He looked in the small mirror on the wall. The blue shirt was bright in the grey room. It was a small color in a sea of grey. He did not smile, but he felt something. Something small. Something different. He went to the door. The door was grey. He put his hand on the doorknob. He never went out. He was afraid to go out. The city was big and loud. The people were strangers. But today, with the blue shirt and the patch of blue sky, he felt a small push. A tiny bit of courage. Maybe just a short walk, he thought. Just to the corner of the street. He opened the door. The hallway was dark and quiet. He walked down the stairs. The stairs were made of concrete. They were cold and hard. He reached the main door of the building. It was a heavy, metal door. He pushed it open. The city air hit his face. It was cool. It was not fresh, but it was different from the air in his room. The sounds of the city were loud. Cars, horns, people talking. It was a lot of sound. He stood outside his building for a moment. He felt small. The buildings were so tall. The street was so wide. Many people walked past him. They did not look at him. They were in their own worlds. He started to walk. He walked slowly. He looked at his feet. He did not want to look at the people. He walked to the corner of the street. He stopped. He had a choice. He could go back to his room, or he could keep walking. He looked up. He saw the patch of blue sky again. It was bigger now. He took a deep breath. He turned right. He decided to walk more. He walked past shops. A bakery with the smell of bread. A clothing store with bright colors in the window. A bookstore with many books. He just walked and looked. He did not go inside. He came to a small park. He had never been to this park before. It was not a big park, but it had trees. The trees had green leaves. There were some benches. A few people were sitting on the benches. Leo found an empty bench. He sat down. He looked at the trees. The green was a nice color. It was different from the gray of his room. He saw a small, red flower growing near his bench. It was just one flower, but it was very red. He sat there for a long time. He did not do anything. He just sat and looked. He looked at the green trees, the red flower, and the blue sky. These colors were simple, but he had not seen them for a long time. He felt the sun on his skin. It was a little warm. The sun was hiding behind the clouds, but some light came through. It was not the weak, yellow light from his lamp. It was real light. After about an hour, he stood up. He felt a little tired, but it was a different kind of tired. It was not the sad, heavy tired from his room. It was the tired from walking and sitting in the fresh air. He walked back to his building. He walked up the cold stairs. He opened the door to his room. The room was still gray. It was still dark. But when he looked at it now, it felt a little different. Maybe because he knew there were colors outside. Green, red, blue. He took off his blue shirt. He did not put it back in the closet. He hung it on his chair. The blue shirt was a small spot of color in his gray room. That night, when he went to bed, he thought about the park. He thought about the green leaves and the red flower. It was a small memory, but it was a new memory. It was not part of the sad circle. He did not know it yet, but this small walk was the first step. The first step on a long road out of the darkness. The gray was still there, but he had found a little bit of color, and that little bit of color was hope. Chapter 3, The Lost Dog. The next day, Leo decided to go for a walk again. He put on his blue shirt. It felt like a special shirt now, a shirt for walking outside. He walked the same way. He walked past the bakery and the bookstore. He walked to the small park. He sat on the same bench. The sky was gray today. There was no blue patch, but he remembered the blue from yesterday. He looked at the small, red flower. It was still there. It was bright against the dark ground. He watched the people in the park. An old man was reading a newspaper. A young woman was pushing a baby in a stroller. They all had their own lives, their own stories. Leo was just watching. He did this every day for a week. He walked to the park. He sat on the bench. He looked at the colors. It became a routine, a new part of his circle. Wake up, eat, walk to the park, go back to the room, eat, sleep. It was still a simple circle, but it was better than the old one. The walk was a small window of light in his gray day. One afternoon, as he was sitting in the park, he heard a sound. It was a small, sad sound, a whimper. He looked around. He did not see anything. He heard it again. It came from behind some bushes near his bench. Leo was a little scared. He did not like surprises, but he was also curious. He stood up slowly. He walked to the bushes. He looked behind them. There, on the ground, was a small dog. The dog was very thin. Its fur was brown and dirty. It had big, sad eyes. It was shivering, even though it was not very cold. The dog looked at Leo and whimpered again. The dog was alone. There was no owner. It had no collar. It looked lost and scared. Leo looked at the dog. The dog looked at Leo. In the dog's sad eyes, Leo saw something he knew. He saw loneliness. He saw fear. The dog felt like he felt. Leo did not know what to do. He had never had a dog. He did not know how to take care of a dog. He should just walk away, he thought. It was not his problem. He started to turn away. But then the dog made another small, sad sound. It was a sound of pure misery. Leo stopped. He could not just leave the dog. He could not leave it to be sad and alone. He knew that feeling too well. He knelt down slowly. He did not want to scare the dog. "Hello," he said softly. His voice was shaky. "Are you lost?" The dog just looked at him with its big, sad eyes. It was too weak to move. Leo reached out his hand very slowly. The dog flinched. It was scared of people. Someone was probably not nice to this dog. "It's okay," Leo said. "I won't hurt you." He kept his hand there. After a long moment, the dog moved its head a little. It sniffed his fingers. The dog's nose was cold and wet. Leo gently petted the dog on its head. The fur was dirty, but it was soft. The dog did not pull away. It leaned into his hand a little. It was desperate for a kind touch. Leo felt something in his chest. It was a warm feeling. It was not happiness, not yet. It was something else. It was a feeling of connection. He was not just alone with his own sadness anymore. There was another creature here who needed help. "You are very hungry," Leo said to the dog. "And you were cold." He had to do something. He could not leave the dog in the park. It would not survive. He made a decision. It was a big decision. He was going to take the dog home. "Come on," he said softly. "Let's go." He carefully picked up the dog. The dog was very light. It was just skin and bones. The dog was scared, but it did not fight. It was too tired. It rested its small head on Leo's arm. Leo held the dog close to his blue shirt. He started to walk back to his building. He was not just walking alone now. He was carrying a small, fragile life. People on the street looked at him. They saw a young man in a blue shirt holding a dirty little dog. Leo did not look at them. He just looked at the dog in his arms. He walked up the stairs to his room. He opened the door. He walked inside. He was not coming back to an empty room. He gently put the dog down on the floor. The dog looked around the grey room. It was not a happy place, but it was warm. It was safe. The dog stood on shaky legs. It looked up at Leo. It wagged its tail, just a little. A tiny, weak wag. Leo looked at the small wagging tail, and for the first time in a very, very long time, Leo felt the corner of his mouth turn up. It was not a big smile. It was a tiny, small smile, but it was real. The grey room now had a man, a dog, and a tiny smile. The darkness was still there, but a small spark of light had just entered the room. Chapter 4, Sparky. The dog was very weak. The first thing Leo did was give it some water. He poured some water from his bottle into a small bowl. The dog drank for a long time. It was very thirsty. Then, the dog needed food. Leo looked in his refrigerator. He had some bread and some milk. He did not know if dogs could eat bread. He went to his small table and looked at his phone. He searched what to feed a hungry stray dog. The internet said that boiled chicken or rice with no salt was good. Leo did not have chicken, but he had rice. He went to his small kitchen. He took out a pot. He washed some rice. He put it on the stove to cook. While the rice was cooking, he cleaned the dog. He filled a bucket with warm water. He used a soft cloth. He gently washed the dog's fur. The dirt came off. Under the dirt, the dog's fur was a light brown color. It was a pretty color. The dog was very patient. It stood still while Leo cleaned it. It seemed to understand that Leo was helping. After the bath, Leo wrapped the dog in his only towel. The dog shivered, but it was a clean shiver now. The rice was ready. It was warm and soft. Leo put a small amount in the bowl. He did not want to give the dog too much food at once. The internet said that could be bad for a very hungry animal. The dog ate the rice very fast. It licked the bowl clean. Then it looked up at Leo, as if to say thank you. Leo sat on the floor with the dog. The dog crawled into his lap. It curled up into a small ball and fell asleep. Its little body was warm against Leo's legs. Leo sat there for a long time. He did not move. He did not want to wake up the dog. He watched the dog sleep. He listened to its soft breathing. He was not thinking about his grey room. He was not thinking about his sadness. He was thinking about this small animal. This dog needed him. For the first time in a long time, Leo felt important. He had a purpose. The next day, Leo went out. He needed to buy things for the dog. He needed dog food, a proper bowl, and a leash. He did not have much money, but he knew he had to do this. He went to a pet store. It was a new place for him. The store was full of sounds and smells. There were other dogs and cats. The store was bright and colorful. He bought a small bag of dog food. He bought 2 simple bowls, one for water and one for food. He bought a soft, red leash. Red was a happy color. When he came back, the dog was waiting for him at the door. Its tail wagged a little more today. It was a happy wag. Leo gave the dog its new food. The dog loved it. "I need to give you a name," Leo said. He looked at the dog. The dog was small, but it had a little spark of life in its eyes. The spark was growing. "Sparky," Leo said. "I will call you Sparky." The dog wagged its tail, as if it liked the name. Life changed for Leo. It was not just about him anymore. It was about him and Sparky. In the morning, he did not stay in bed. Sparky woke him up by licking his face. Leo had to get up to feed Sparky. He had to take Sparky for a walk. They walked to the park every day. But now, the walks were different. Leo was not just sitting on a bench alone. He was walking with Sparky. He threw a small stick, and Sparky ran to get it. Sparky was not very fast, but he was happy. Watching Sparky play made Leo feel happy, too. It was a quiet happiness, a warm feeling. Sparky needed Leo, and Leo needed Sparky. The little dog was giving Leo a reason to get out of bed, a reason to go outside, a reason to smile. The grey room was still grey, but it was not empty. It had a man and his dog. It had a red leash hanging on the wall. It had the sound of a happy tail wagging against the leg of the table. The darkness in Leo's mind was still there. It was a big darkness, but Sparky was a small light, a little spark. And sometimes, a little spark is all you need to start pushing the darkness away. Leo was still on his journey, but now, he was not walking it alone. He had a friend, a small, furry friend with big, loving eyes. Chapter 5, The Cafe. With Sparky, Leo's world became a little bigger. Every day, they explored new streets on their walks. Sparky loved to sniff everything, every tree, every lamppost, every flower. Leo walked slowly, letting Sparky lead the way. One sunny afternoon, they walked down a street Leo had never seen before. It was a quiet street with small, colorful houses. There were flower boxes on the windows, red flowers, yellow flowers, purple flowers. It was a happy street. At the end of the street, there was a small cafe. It had a bright green door and a big window. On the window, in white letters, it said, "The Sunny Corner Cafe." There were a few small tables outside. A sign on the door said, "Well-behaved dogs are welcome." Sparky pulled Leo towards the cafe. He could probably smell something good. Leo hesitated. He never went to cafes. He always felt awkward sitting alone. But Sparky was with him now, and the sign said dogs were welcome. "Okay, Sparky," Leo said. "Let's try it." He walked to one of the small tables outside and sat down. Sparky lay down at his feet, happy to be in the sun. A young woman came out of the green door. She was wearing a yellow apron. She had kind eyes and a warm smile. "Hello," she said. "Welcome to the Sunny Corner. What can I get for you?" "Just a coffee, please," Leo said quietly. "Of course," she said. Then she looked down at Sparky. "And what a cute friend you have. I'll bring some water for him, too." She went back inside. Leo watched her go. She was friendly. Her smile was genuine. She came back with a cup of coffee for Leo, and a small bowl of water for Sparky. "Here you go," she said, placing them on the table. "My name is Mia, by the way. I work here." "I'm Leo," he said. It was strange to say his name to a new person. "And this is Sparky." "It's nice to meet you, Leo and Sparky," Mia said. "Enjoy your coffee." She went back inside to help another customer. Leo drank his coffee. It was good coffee. It was warm and strong. He sat there, in the sun, with his dog at his feet, drinking a good cup of coffee. It was a simple moment, but it was a perfect moment. He looked at the cafe. It was a lovely place. There were plants inside. The walls were painted a light, cheerful yellow. People were sitting at tables, talking and laughing. It felt warm and friendly. It was the opposite of his grey room. After he finished his coffee, he went inside to pay. Mia was behind the counter. "Was everything okay?" she asked. "Yes, it was very good. Thank you," Leo said. "Sparky is a very good boy," Mia said, smiling at the dog. "You should bring him again." "We will," Leo said, and he was surprised that he meant it. He and Sparky walked home. Leo felt different. He had talked to someone new. A small conversation, but it was a start. Mia was nice to him. She did not know he was sad or lonely. She just saw a man with his dog. The next day, Leo and Sparky went back to the Sunny Corner Cafe. Leo ordered a coffee again. Mia smiled when she saw them. "Welcome back, Leo," she said. It felt nice that she remembered his name. They went to the cafe every day that week. It became their new routine. Walk in the park, then coffee at the Sunny Corner. Leo started to feel more comfortable there. He started to look forward to it. He learned more about Mia. She was a student. She worked at the cafe in the afternoons. She loved animals. She loved to draw. Mia learned more about Leo, too. She learned that he was quiet but kind. She saw how much he loved his dog, Sparky. One day, it was raining. Leo did not want to go out. The grey sky made him feel grey again, but Sparky wanted to go for a walk. He brought his red leash to Leo and wagged his tail. Leo looked at Sparky. He could not say no. He put on his jacket, and they went out into the rain. They walked to the cafe. This time, they sat inside. It was warm and cozy. The smell of coffee and cake filled the air. "I'm glad you came, even in the rain," Mia said when she brought his coffee. Sparky wanted to come. Leo said, "He has good taste." She laughed. Leo smiled. A real, small smile. Mia saw it. "You have a nice smile, Leo," she said gently. "You should use it more often." Leo felt his face get warm. He was not used to compliments. He stayed in the cafe for a long time that day, watching the rain fall outside the big window. He felt safe and warm. He was not alone in his room with the sad feelings. He was in a bright, yellow cafe, with his dog, and with a new friend. The cafe was becoming more than just a place to get coffee. It was becoming a place of light, a sunny corner in his life. The journey out of the darkness was long, but Leo was finding small, bright places along the way, and those places were making all the difference. Chapter 6, A New Routine. Life for Leo started to have a new rhythm. It was a gentle, hopeful rhythm. The beat was made by Sparky's wagging tail, the walk to the park, and the warm welcome at the sunny corner cafe. His grey room was still his home, but he spent less time just sitting in it. In the morning, the first thing he did was take care of Sparky. He filled his food bowl. He changed his water. Sparky would eat happily, his tail thumping on the floor. The sound was much better than a lonely silence. After breakfast, it was time for their walk. Leo put the red leash on Sparky. Sparky would get so excited. He would jump and run to the door. His excitement was contagious. Leo couldn't help but feel a little bit of that excitement too. They would walk to the park. Leo learned the names of the trees. He learned which flowers bloomed in which season. He noticed the small things, the way the light looked in the morning, the sound of the birds. The world was full of details he had never seen before. After the park, they always went to the cafe. It was the best part of the day. "Leo, Sparky, hello," Mia would say with a big smile. Leo started to talk more with Mia. At first, it was just small talk, about the weather, about Sparky, but slowly, their conversations grew. Leo told her he was new in the city. He did not tell her why he was sad, but he told her he did not know many people. "Well, now you know me," Mia said kindly, "and everyone here at the cafe is friendly." She was right. The owner of the cafe, an older man named Mr. Henderson, would always say hello to Leo. Some of the regular customers would smile and pet Sparky. Leo started to feel like he was part of a small community. He was not invisible anymore. One day, Mia was drawing in a small notebook when Leo came in. "What are you drawing?" he asked. He was getting braver. She showed him. It was a drawing of Sparky, sleeping at Leo's feet. It was a beautiful drawing. She had captured Sparky's peaceful expression perfectly. "Wow," Leo said. "That's amazing. You're very talented." "Thank you," Mia said, blushing a little. "It's just a hobby. I like to draw what I see." She looked at Leo. "You have a very kind face," she said thoughtfully. "But sometimes it looks sad. I hope you are okay." Leo was surprised by her directness, but it was a kind directness. He did not feel judged. He felt seen. He took a deep breath. "I have been sad for a long time," he said. It was the first time he had said those words to another person. Mia did not ask a lot of questions. She just listened. She nodded her head. "I'm sorry to hear that," she said softly, "but I'm glad you have Sparky, and I'm glad you come here. The world can be a bright place, even when it feels dark." Her words were simple, but they meant a lot to Leo. He felt a little bit of the heavy weight on his chest lift. Talking about it helped. Sharing the burden, even just a little, made it lighter. His routine continued, but it felt richer now. He had a friend, a human friend. He started to take better care of himself, too. He bought new clothes. Not grey clothes. He bought a green sweater. He bought a pair of brown shoes. He started to cook real meals for himself, not just for Sparky. He would buy fresh vegetables from a small market near the park. He enjoyed the colors of the carrots and the peppers. His room started to change, too. He bought a small plant from the market and put it on his windowsill. It was a small, green plant. It needed sunlight and water. It was another living thing to take care of. He bought a new lamp, a brighter lamp. The yellow light was warmer and stronger. The grey walls did not look so sad in the new light. One evening, he was sitting in his room. Sparky was sleeping on a small rug he had bought for him. The green plant was on the windowsill. The new lamp was on. He was eating a dinner of chicken and vegetables. It tasted good. He looked around his room. It was still a small, simple room, but it was not a grey prison anymore. It was starting to feel like a home. It had life in it. It had color. He realized his sadness was not completely gone. It was still there, sometimes, a shadow in the corner, but it was smaller now. It was not a big, dark cloud that covered everything. It was just a shadow, and there was light in the room now. There was light from the lamp, from the green plant, from the memory of Mia's smile, and from the warm, sleeping dog at his feet. Leo was learning a new truth. Happiness was not a big, sudden event. It was a collection of small, good things. A wagging tail, a warm cup of coffee, a kind word from a friend, a green plant on a windowsill. He was building a new life, one small, colorful brick at a time. The journey was far from over, but for the first time, he felt like he was on the right path. He was walking towards the sun. Chapter 7, The Colors of the World. Leo's friendship with Mia grew stronger. They talked every day at the cafe. She told him about her art classes. He told her about the new things he and Sparky discovered on their walks. One Saturday, Mia had an idea. "You should come to the big park with me tomorrow," she said. "The city park. It's much bigger than the one you go to. There's a lake, and huge fields. Sparky would love it." Leo felt a familiar fear. The big park was far away. He would have to take a bus. There would be many people. "I don't know," he started to say. "I'll be with you," Mia said, understanding his hesitation. "We can go together. It will be fun." Leo looked at Sparky, who was wagging his tail as if he understood the word park. Then he looked at Mia's hopeful face. He couldn't say no. "Okay," he said. "Let's go." The next day, he met Mia at the bus stop. He was nervous, but seeing her friendly smile made him feel better. They got on the bus with Sparky. Sparky sat on Leo's lap, looking out the window with excitement. The city park was huge. As soon as they entered, Leo was amazed. There were giant trees everywhere. The grass was a deep, rich green. It looked like a green ocean, and in the middle of it all was a large, sparkling lake. The sun was shining, and the water glittered. "Wow," Leo said. "It's beautiful." "I told you," Mia said, laughing. They let Sparky off his leash in a special area for dogs. Sparky ran and ran. He played with other dogs. He was so happy. Leo had never seen him so full of joy. Leo and Mia walked along the lake. They watched the ducks swim. They sat on a bench under a big willow tree. Mia had brought a sketchbook with her. She started to draw the lake and the trees. Leo watched her. Her hand moved quickly and confidently. She was not just drawing lines. She was capturing the feeling of the place. "You see the world in a special way," Leo said. "You see all the details, all the colors. Everyone can see them," Mia replied, not looking up from her drawing. "You just have to look. Really look." "What color is the water, Leo?" Leo looked at the lake. "It's blue," he said. "Is it?" she asked. "Look closer." Leo looked again. He really focused. He saw that the water was not just one color. In some places, where the sun hit it, it was bright, almost white. In the shady parts, it was a deep, dark blue. Near the edge, where the trees reflected, it was green. "It's many colors," Leo said, surprised. "Blue, and green, and white." "Exactly," Mia said, smiling. "And the sky? Is it just blue?" Leo looked up. The sky near the horizon was a very light, pale blue. Higher up, it was a deep, brilliant blue. There were a few white, fluffy clouds. "It's many shades of blue," he said. "The world is full of color," Mia said. "Full of different shades and lights and shadows. Even on a gray day, there are 100 different shades of gray. You just have to learn to see them." Her words were a revelation to Leo. He had lived in a gray world because he only saw gray. He had not been looking for the other colors. They spent a whole day in the park. They had a picnic that Mia had packed. Simple sandwiches, but they tasted wonderful in the fresh air. On the bus ride home, Leo felt tired but happy. It was a good tired. He looked out the window at the city. He did not just see gray buildings anymore. He saw red brick buildings. He saw buildings with blue windows. He saw yellow taxis and green buses. The colors had always been there. He was just starting to see them now. That evening, after he got home, he did something new. He went to a small art supply store he had seen near the cafe. He bought a small set of watercolor paints and a pad of paper. He did not know why. He just felt like he needed to. Back in his room, he sat at his gray table. He opened the paint set. It was full of bright colors: red, yellow, blue, green, purple. He put a little water in a cup. He dipped the brush in the blue paint. He tried to paint the lake from the park. His painting was not good. It was clumsy and messy. The water did not look like water. The tree looked like a green blob. It was a child's painting. He felt a little frustrated, but then he remembered Mia's words. You just have to learn to see. He stopped trying to paint the perfect lake. He just played with the colors. He mixed blue and yellow to make green. He mixed red and blue to make purple. He watched how the colors spread on the wet paper. He was not creating a masterpiece. He was just exploring. He was touching the colors, seeing what they could do. He painted for hours. When he finally stopped, his table was a mess of colorful paper. His hands were stained with paint. He looked at his work. It was not beautiful art, but it was full of color. His gray room was now decorated with his own messy, vibrant creations. He felt a new kind of happiness. It was the joy of creating something. The joy of expressing himself, not with words, but with color. The darkness in his mind was about seeing everything as one color, gray. Today, Mia had given him a gift. She had taught him how to see the million other colors in the world, and now, he was starting to bring those colors into his own life, onto his own paper, inside his own room. The journey was becoming brighter with every new shade he discovered. Chapter 8, A Job and a Purpose. The small, colorful paintings Leo made were now taped to the walls of his room. They were not professional, but they were his. They were reminders of the colors he was learning to see in the world. The gray walls were disappearing under a patchwork of blue lakes, green trees, and bright yellow suns. His money was running low. The small amount he had saved was almost gone. He needed to find a job. The thought filled him with the old fear. Job interviews. Talking to strangers. The possibility of a rejection. He talked to Mia about it at the cafe. I need to find work, he said, his voice low. But I'm scared. What kind of work do you like to do? Mia asked gently. Leo thought about it. I don't know, he said honestly. My last job was in an office. I sat at a computer all day. I didn't like it. It was gray. Mia was quiet for a moment, thinking. Then her face lit up. Mr. Henderson, the owner of the cafe, is looking for someone to help out, she said. Just for a few hours a day. Washing dishes, cleaning tables, maybe helping in the kitchen. It's simple work, and you would be here, with us. Leo's heart beat a little faster. Working at the cafe, the one place where he felt safe and comfortable, it seemed too good to be true. Do you think he would hire me? Leo asked. Let's ask him right now, Mia said, and before Leo could object, she called Mr. Henderson over. Mr. Henderson was a kind, older man with a white mustache and a warm smile. Leo is looking for some work, Mr. Henderson, Mia said. I thought maybe he could help out here. Mr. Henderson looked at Leo. He had seen Leo every day for weeks. He had seen how gentle he was with Sparky. He had seen him start to smile more. You're a good, quiet young man, Leo, Mr. Henderson said. And you love this place. I can see it. The job is not glamorous. It's hard work. But if you want to try, you can start tomorrow. Leo was stunned. It was that easy. No difficult interview. No long application. Just a simple conversation and a chance. Yes, Leo said, his voice full of gratitude. Thank you. I would love to try. The next day, Leo started his new job. He wore a yellow apron, just like Mia's. He felt nervous, but Mia was there, showing him what to do. He washed dishes. He stood in the warm, steamy kitchen, scrubbing plates and cups. It was physical work. It kept his hands busy and his mind clear. He liked the feeling of making something dirty clean again. He cleaned tables. He wiped them down, making them ready for the next customer. He enjoyed making the space nice for other people. He even helped Mr. Henderson in the kitchen, chopping vegetables. He learned how to chop an onion quickly. He learned the smell of fresh herbs. The cafe was a busy place. There was always something to do. The hours passed quickly. He was tired at the end of his shift, but it was a good, satisfying tired. He had earned his money. He had been useful. Working at the cafe changed his relationship with the place. It was not just a place he visited anymore. It was his place. He was part of the team. He helped make the coffee. He helped bake the cakes. He was part of the reason the Sunny Corner Cafe was a warm and welcoming place. He saw new sides of his friends. He saw how hard Mia worked, always with a smile. He saw how much care Mr. Henderson put into his food, using only the best ingredients. And the customers got to know him, too. They weren't just strangers anymore. They were the woman who always orders tea, or the man who reads the newspaper for 2 hours. They would smile at him and say, "Hello, Leo." He was not invisible anymore. He had a name. He had a place. He had a purpose. With the money he earned, he could buy better food for himself and Sparky. He bought a new, comfortable bed for Sparky. He even bought a new, comfortable chair for himself. A blue chair. One evening, after a busy day at work, he sat in his new blue chair. Sparky was asleep on his new bed. The room was filled with the warm light from his lamp. His colorful paintings were on the wall. He felt a deep sense of peace. The heavy sadness that had lived in his chest for so long was gone. It was not just smaller, it was gone. He knew it might come back sometimes. Sadness is a part of life, like gray days. But he was not afraid of it anymore. He knew he had the tools to fight it. He had his friend, Sparky. He had his friend, Mia. He had his job at the cafe. He had his paints. He had his new way of seeing the world, full of color and detail. He was not just surviving anymore. He was living. He was building a life that was not gray, but full of warm, sunny yellows, friendly blues, and vibrant, hopeful greens. The darkness had been deep, but he had found his way out, one small step, one kind friend, one colorful painting at a time. Chapter 9, A Full Circle. A year passed. The seasons changed. Leo saw the bright green of spring, the warm gold of summer, the fiery red of autumn, and the quiet white of winter. He saw them all, really saw them, for the first time. His life was completely different now. He still lived in the same small room, but it was not the same room at all. It was filled with color and life. His paintings covered the walls. They were much better now. He had been practicing. He had a real artist's easel by the window. The green plant on the windowsill had grown big and strong. He still worked at the Sunny Corner Cafe. He was not just washing dishes anymore. Mr. Henderson had taught him how to use the big coffee machine. Leo was now a barista. He loved the process of making coffee. The smell of the beans, the sound of the milk frothing, the art of pouring a heart or a leaf on top of a latte. He took pride in his work. His friendship with Mia had blossomed into something more. They were more than just friends. They spent their days off together, exploring the city. They went to museums, concerts, and markets. Mia's laughter was the brightest color in Leo's life. Sparky was a happy, healthy dog. He was not the thin, scared creature Leo had found in the park. He was confident and playful. He was the heart of Leo's little home. One sunny spring afternoon, Leo was walking Sparky. They were not in the small park or the big city park. They were walking in a new place, a quiet neighborhood they had discovered. As they walked, Leo saw a young man sitting alone on a bench. The man was staring at the ground. He wore gray clothes. He had a look on his face that Leo knew very well. It was a look of deep, heavy sadness. It was the look of a person living in a gray world. Leo felt a pang in his heart. He remembered himself, a year ago, sitting on a bench just like that, lost and alone. He hesitated. The old Leo would have walked away. He would have been too scared to talk to a stranger. But he was not the old Leo anymore. He walked over to the bench. Sparky, being a friendly dog, went right up to the young man and licked his hand. The young man looked up, surprised. He saw Leo and his friendly dog. "Hello," Leo said, his voice kind and steady. "My dog seems to like you." The young man gave a small, weak smile. "He's a nice dog," he said quietly. "His name is Sparky," Leo said. He sat down on the other end of the bench, giving the man some space. "I'm Leo." "I'm Ben," the young man said. They sat in silence for a moment. Leo did not push. He just sat there, offering a quiet, friendly presence. "It's a nice day," Leo said finally. "The sky is a really beautiful shade of blue today." Ben looked up at the sky. He had not noticed. "Yes," he said. "I guess it is. I found this little guy in the park about a year ago," Leo said, petting Sparky. "He was lost and sad. I was pretty lost and sad, too. We kind of saved each other." Ben looked at Leo. He saw the kindness in his eyes. He saw the genuine smile. "It's hard," Ben said, his voice barely a whisper. "This city, it's so big. It's easy to feel Invisible. I know, Leo said. I know that feeling very well. They talked for a long time. Ben told Leo that he had moved to the city for a job and felt very lonely. It was Leo's story. Leo did not offer easy advice. He did not say just be happy, he just listened. And then, he shared a little of his own journey. Things started to change for me when I started going for walks, Leo said. And when I found this guy, he said, scratching Sparky's ears. And then I found a little cafe. A friendly place. He paused. Then he had an idea. It's called the Sunny Corner Cafe, Leo said. It's not far from here. I work there. We make the best coffee in the city. You should come by sometime. Bring a book, or just sit. It's a good place to be. He stood up to leave. It was nice to meet you, Ben. You too, Leo, Ben said. And for the first time, his smile reached his eyes. Thank you. Leo and Sparky walked away. Leo felt a profound sense of gratitude. He had come full circle. He was once the person who needed help, who needed a kind word, who needed someone to see him. Now, he was the person who could offer that to someone else. He could be a small spark of light for another person lost in the darkness. He knew that overcoming the darkness was not a destination you arrive at. It was a continuous journey. It was about learning to see the colors, building connections, and being kind to yourself and to others. And it was about sharing your light, no matter how small, with those who might need it. Chapter 10, The Bright Future. A few days later, Leo was at work behind the coffee machine at the Sunny Corner Cafe. The afternoon sun was streaming through the big window, making everything glow. The cafe was busy and full of cheerful noise. The little bell on the green door rang. Leo looked up. It was Ben. He was standing nervously by the door, looking around. Leo smiled a big, welcoming smile. Ben, welcome. I'm so glad you came. Ben looked relieved to see a familiar face. He walked up to the counter. Hi, Leo, he said. You're right. This is a nice place. It's the best place, Leo said. What can I get you? First coffee is on me. Ben ordered a latte. Leo made it for him, carefully pouring a heart shape into the foam. He felt a quiet joy in this simple act of service. Mia. This is my friend, Ben, Leo said, introducing him to Mia, who was arranging cakes in the display case. Nice to meet you, Ben, Mia said with her usual warm smile. Any friend of Leo's is a friend of ours. Ben found a small table by the window. He sat with his coffee, watching the life of the cafe around him. He did not look like the same person Leo had met in the park. He was still quiet, but the heavy cloud of sadness was not hanging over him so thickly. He looked hopeful. Leo's life continued to be full and happy. His relationship with Mia grew deeper. They were a team, supporting each other's dreams. She encouraged his painting. He encouraged her art. They talked about the future. Maybe one day, they would open their own place. A small gallery that was also a cafe. A place for art and coffee and community. It was a beautiful dream. Leo's paintings got so good at Mr. Henderson asked if he could hang some of them on the cafe walls. The customers loved them. One day, a woman asked if she could buy one of his paintings of the city park lake. Leo was shocked. Someone wanted to pay money for his art? He sold the painting. With the money, he bought a bigger set of paint and a real canvas. It was the start of a new dream. He never forgot where he came from. He never forgot the grey room and the heavy sadness. It was a part of his story. It made him grateful for every color, every smile, every good cup of coffee. Sometimes, he would see people on the street who looked lost, the way he used to look, and he would always try to offer a small kindness, a smile, a simple hello. He knew that a small act of connection could be a lifeline. His own room was now his sanctuary. It was a bright, creative space that was uniquely his. The gray was gone, replaced by the colors of his life. The blue of his favorite chair, the green of his thriving plant, the red of Sparky's leash, the yellow of the warm lamplight, and all the colors of his paintings on the walls. One evening, he was sitting with Mia in his room, looking through a new sketchbook of her drawings. Sparky was asleep at their feet. The room was quiet and peaceful. Do you remember when you told me to look closer at the colors? Leo asked her. I do, she said, smiling. That changed everything for me, he said. You taught me how to see the world, but you also taught me how to see the good inside myself. You always had it, Leo, she said softly, taking his hand. You just needed a little help to let it shine. Leo looked around his beautiful, colorful room. He looked at his wonderful dog and the amazing woman by his side. He thought about his job, his art, and the friends he had made. The journey out of the darkness had been long and slow. It started with one small step, one decision to wear a blue shirt and walk outside. It continued with one lost dog, one friendly cafe, one kind conversation, one box of paints. He had not overcome the darkness by fighting it with anger or strength. He had overcome it by slowly, patiently, letting the light in, one small spark at a time. And now, his life was not just bright, it was brilliant.